Hey everyone, welcome to episode 20. This week we revisit our conversation we had back in episode 3. This is part 2 with Darcy Hancock of Ladyhawk. We look at the new Tragically hip stamps and a cool find you won't want to miss that I found in a record store last week in Vancouver. Let's do it. So first up on the show, I want to show you this little cool item we got here, Teenage Head Frantic City. This I've featured this on the show before in the Needles and Pins debut episode. I bought my copy in Kamloops for $20. So I did already own this, but I was looking around in a record store here in Vancouver a couple weeks ago, and I saw this album, and for some reason it said $10 on the cover there. Little sticker price tag, and for some reason I just picked it up. Was like, oh cool, this album. At first I was like, oh fuck, I paid $20 for this because I remembered. But as I was looking at the album, as you flip it over, to my shock and delight, you see 4 signatures. So that was pretty damn cool to find. There's Best Wishes signed by Frankie Venom, who passed away in 2008. The whole band signed this. Love, Steve. Thanks from Gord. And then down here we have Nick. So pretty cool. I don't know what made me pick the record up that I already had, but I guess it doesn't hurt. If you guys want to check out Teenage Head, again, this is Frantic City, came out in 1980. Listen to the song Infected off of it. So we're going to keep it going Canadian here for you. Legendary band, the Tragically Hip. We're honored this month, I believe, getting a stamp in Canada. Here they are. Picked them up at my post office. They're celebrating their 30th year together next year, 84 to 2014. Great picture of them on there. Pretty huge honor, I can imagine, being on your country stamp. You got 10 of these babies in here for $6.50. I picked them up. Pretty cool. The Hip are playing 3 nights at the Orpheum here in Vancouver in September. I only am going to 1. Usually I'd be going to all of them. Why do you ask? Because of the outrageous $127 ticket price. I've been pretty hot and steamed about this since it got rolled out. The Hip are supposed to be a blue-collar working man's bar band. 127 is just so alienating, so over the top. I can get a pair of Pearl Jam tickets for just over that. I saw Roger Waters for about the same price in a huge stadium. Super pissed off about this. Also in Seattle, the stickers at their merch booth were $5. Then in Kamloops, less than a month later, they were skyrocketed to $15. I don't really like what the Hip's doing right now. Their set lists have become stagnated. They're changing maybe 3 to 4 songs per show. Seems like they're wanting to go as the Canadian heritage band route and really jack the prices. I love these guys. Hopefully this doesn't last. Alright, I had to get that off my chest. Now let's look at part 2 with Darcy. Just before we get into that interview, a little Ladyhawk related promo item here for a Shots album that came out in 2008. A couple of shot glasses that we had, some coffee infused tequila sludge that Shannon and Dallas had. This was the second most vile tasting liquid I've ever had in my mouth. The first being some Dream Herb tea from the Urban Shaman here in Vancouver. This stuff was nasty, but it sure did the trick. Thanks, guys.
So it's coffee infused tequila, or like, what's mezcal? Mezcal.
It's not coffee like, it's not like the taste of coffee, it's coffee beans. So it's very bitter.
So it's very bitter. And
I love coffee.
I don't really recommend sipping it because it doesn't taste good.
So 2008, Shots comes out. There's an internet video called Let Me Be Fictional. You guys can check that out. It's very long. It's about over an hour and a bit.
It's too long.
Yeah, it's like a documentary. Tell us about it. Where did you guys go to record this?
We rented this kind of falling apart house in Kelowna. We just wanted to, it's like always like that dream to go record a cabin in the woods or something, but that was kind of the best we could come up with.
Yeah.
was to go there. Also, a highly stressful thing to do at the time. It seemed for me anyway. I don't know.
Especially
But,
without a bathroom. I mean, I'm sure you've got more
It
things
was
to worry
cold. It
about.
was really, really cold in the house. It was
Yeah.
winter. And then cameras in our face, which at the time we thought was like, when they asked to do it, thought it would be like, sure, why not? But it actually made me really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to be creative while
I can believe
people are
that,
around
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it was kind of also, I don't know, it's a moment in time that's captured and people seem to like the album.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I personally don't, but.
Really? The
but
first
I guess
side
you always-
is
you always-
ridiculous.
You always, I don't know, you always
Yeah.
feel, you like what you're doing now the most, I guess. So.
Yeah, okay, moving
But I mean-
forward. I gotta ask, I think I've asked before, but what does STHD stand for? Are you allowed to say?
Yeah, now, yeah, who cares now?
Yeah.
We kept it a secret for a long time,
Yeah.
but at Smash the High Dials, we played with, they were a band, we played with them long before our first album came out
Okay.
in Calgary, and the singer was a jerk to
Smashed.
all of us.
Yeah.
Duffy thought it would be funny to write a diss song,
Nice.
and so he did.
Cool, and that is beer, right? Clear
That's
that up?
beer, yeah.
Okay.
Not piss.
Yeah. So, after I first saw you guys in '08, I saw you at this show. I told my friends that they had to see you guys. This was a Black Mountain show.
Right.
Limited poster here of 35.
Yeah, Ruben saw that one.
No?
That's nice.
Nice. It is nice. It's one of my favorite local posters for sure. Tell us what you remember about this show.
That was our first Canadian tour after Shots came out.
Cool.
We toured out east with Immaculate Machine, and then met up with Black Mountain in Winnipeg, who had been on
Immaculate
that.
Machine. Catherine Calder.
Calder's.
AC Newman's niece.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
that was like a random chance, and they were out there at the same time, so we met up and played 5 or 6 shows together.
Cool.
And then we met up with Black Mountain in Winnipeg,
Yeah.
and that was a fun half. I mean, we toured with them in 2005, so before our album came out, or a year before our album came out.
Yeah.
They took us out in
really?
America, which was
That's
cool.
when they only had that.
That was their first album.
Yeah.
That was right
yeah.
after their tour with Coldplay.
What's? Oh yeah. Coldplay they toured with?
Yeah.
Did not know that. Crazy. Wow. So moving on after that, I saw you guys play this show. What do you remember about this one? Rest in peace, Richards on Richards.
Yeah. That was. I remember we had just not been together for 2 weeks, so we toured Europe, and that year that was our last long tour we ever went on. We were just super burnt out, but I remember that Richard show being really awesome, like just blowing off steam. I think both us and Attack and Black had toured so much.
Yeah, they were really good.
Like he broke his guitar that night.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. One thing I remember, there was a guy on stage with you called Dr. Teeth. Do you recall this? He played like a little handheld organ or something.
That was probably Josh.
Yeah.
For Black Man.
Yeah,
Did
okay.
he dress up? He probably
Yeah.
played the keyboard lines.
Yeah, okay. So moving
I don't know
on.
if you had a name.
Yeah, I think someone introduced him as Dr. Teeth. I was tripping. I was up in the balcony watching you guys. I got some good photos from that. Moving on to, for 2010, were you at this one? Of course you were at this one. P.S. I Love You. And by the way, Japandroids and Ladyhawk are playing at the same show. So did you have fun there? How was that?
That was also, just playing at the rickshaw is really challenging.
You don't like it? Is it the
Sounds like
cement
hell on
walls or
stage.
what?
It's always really bad on stage, and also like we hadn't been a band in a long time at that point, so
Yeah.
a bit of like, are we a band? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
That was like kind of like a,
Foggy. That's
because
during.
we burnt out at the end of the Shots
Shots.
touring process.
Right. So how long were you? That's when you said you
We-
were touring Europe.
We'd only toured Europe for 3 weeks, but that
Oh.
year we played like 180 something shows. So.
Well, more than one every 3 days. Crazy.
Yeah.
So then the 4 years go by, handful of projects in there too. 2012 comes around and No Can Do, your triumphant return. This is now, you're on triple Crown Audio, right, recordings. And why the jump from Jaguar to them? Any big reason? Or?
It had been a long time. Their record label is huge now, compared to
when it was.
Yeah. And we weren't interested in spending a ton of time on the road or like playing the game or promoting ourselves. We wanted to just come play some shows in places we knew people liked us.
Yeah.
And not break our backs or ruin our marriages
Yeah,
or
you
anything.
learn from.
We just wanted it to be a pleasant. I mean, it's not like it wouldn't have been pleasant, but if you're going to be on a label like that, you got to work hard.
Yeah, the
And
promotion and stuff.
We just wanted it to be like Scott, who put it out, is a good friend. I've known him since I was 10 or 11 or something.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it was he
Very
lives
cool.
across the street. It was really easy.
Yeah.
To communication, you know.
I like the artwork. This is a great photo. Did you snag that from somewhere, or is that
It's our
taken-
friend Steve, who was on the first album cover as well, wherever that is.
Oh, is he the guy hiding in the bushes?
Yeah, he had like at this
There you go.
time anyway, he had a series of art projects based on him in this sweater.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
at that time, this is when that was actually shot.
Oh wow.
And it just kind of came up.
It's
where
an amazing
when we were
photo.
looking, like just arguing about what to do. And
Yeah.
then Scott was like, "How about this?" And we're like, "Done."
Nice.
So
So songs that I would choose to pick off here, "I'm a Witch" is ridiculously good. "Bed Bugs," "No Can Do," the title track, and "Window Pane's" good. Really cool sound. I was lucky enough to get a what's it called? An early release of this from someone, and I did that review on the thing. And I went out on a limb and I said, "This is your best album to date," and I still stand by that. And it's good, if you're progressing, like you said, your favorite stuff is what you have done most recently. I really love this stuff. It's good. And from there, we can go and talk about this one. So that kind of wraps up the Ladyhawk to date. And this is Hard Feelings. Tell us about this.
this is a band, a punk rock band I played in, and this album was the last album of Devin, who was also in Say Party, who died on stage. This is the last album we recorded, or he ever recorded. So
Oh, really?
we
He's
recorded it
on-
right before he left on tour with Say Party.
Yeah.
And then we ended up finishing it that following summer,
Okay.
but not getting it out for years because
Yeah.
it's expensive to press vinyl. But
Yeah,
it was
'cause
really
I-
important for us to make a physical release of it.
Yeah. I just picked this up maybe last year, May or so.
Yeah, I think it came out after we broke up.
Yeah. Okay.
Not easy to get rid of copies, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like a dark punk band.
Yeah, there's good stuff on here. You especially like Maracas, which we're going to play for you guys at the end of this sort of clip here. And don't forget your treats. What did you bring here for us?
Some test pressings.
So we've got a test pressing of this.
That's No Can Do, I think.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't matter. They don't
Yeah,
have labels on it.
doesn't
yeah.
really matter, but
That's test pressing. of our
very
band.
cool of Darcy to bring this by for us and you guys. A couple of pretty rare test pressings of Hard Feelings and No Can Do, the latest Ladyhawk. Very cool. So I think that about wraps it up. I want to thank Darcy Hancock for coming over, providing the time to get on the little show here. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for bringing this. Cool. So how's that? You okay with that?